And welcome to the mid-season premiere of The Walker Talkers. The Walking Dead review, preview, pregame show with me, A.A. Ryan.
Sorry, and me, Pete, as well. Reanimated and ready to go for Season 9B.
So we're here with Season 9B of The Walking Dead. Rickless, Magless, and might as well say we're D-less and our pants sagging, man. I mean, we're lowing out here, but we're excited for the new season of The Walker Talkers.
But we're ready. We're ready for that, and we're ready for Rick movies that are going in production.
Oh yes, once those movies come back around, man, the Rick-tatorship will be back full force, and we can finally settle and be happy again. Well, maybe, just maybe, Alpha will change the game. What do you think, Pete?
Well, I would have to say there's only one possibility, one outcome, and that's going to be... And that's pretty much it.
Oh gosh.
You feel me?
I do feel ya. Well,
or should I say, you bite me? Because we're walkers, right?
Well, I'm gonna go hang out over here, Pete, and I'll be back in a minute. I'm gonna go get resurrected.
Resurrection.
Blah! What's going on, everybody? A.A. Ryan here from PanNerdia.
Pete.
And Raider Pete, that is. And welcome back to The Walker Talkers. Like we said, the Walking Dead pre-game review preview show where, well, we discuss the episode from the past week and give our thoughts, our reviews, and everything else that's involved with that kind of thing. And while we're here and we're back, not only for Season 9B, so the second half of Season 9, but also... You know, our first show here on PanNerdia
yes, that's
was The Walker Talkers. Carl's farewell song. You know, his swan song, so to speak. Meow. Hello, Lubrea. And welcome back to The Walker Talkers.
She's such a good pussycat.
Oh, yes.
She loves her zombie shows.
Rawr. And, yeah, man, we're excited to be back. It's been, you know, this journey started a year ago. And, well, we got a special announcement, speaking of PanNerdia and, Walk Around the Sun. So I'll be sure to mention that before we leave the broadcast this evening. But we are here tonight to discuss, well, The Walking Dead Season 9 and the second half of it, that is. But I think before we delve into what could happen on the second half, what we think... what we expect and what we hope to happen. We want to kind of go back down memory lane. And
it's been, what, a month or two?
It's been a few months. You know, you gotta let the happy holidays stroll around. You don't want walkers over, you know, Christmas. I mean, we wouldn't mind, but whatever. So we gotta give you guys a refresher, you know, a mini synopsis, if you will, of what happened in the past. So let me go ahead and set that up for us real quick. But
as everyone thaws out at home, we're going to thaw out the walkers here and see what's next. But where are we starting here? Season 9, Episode 1. The shortest synopsis I have is basically managing the sanctuary.
Yes.
All these different main characters, you know. And then, of course, Gregory being hung. That big outcome right there. And, of course, the beginning of that episode was the run they made to the Smithsonian in D.C.
Oh, yeah.
Where they scored, you know, a wagon, a canoe, a backhoe or a plow, whatever, and seeds and beans.
It was a good harvest. They definitely reaped some good rewards there. It was like RPG style, man. They got what they needed and got in and out. Though some catastrophe almost happened. Got out unscathed. They got some new equipment, and we got to see some more downtown
and we
DC.
got to see some downtown DC CG covered, everything all moldy and stuff. That was a really neat shot. I wish they'd do that more often.
Yeah, I think so.
Episode 2.
Episode
another
2.
quick, short little synopsis of that. It's 35 days past Gregory being hung, and the dealings and struggle during, the bridge project, between the communities. That's pretty much the episode titled "The Bridge."
Right.
So there are things that happen, and we can go out talking about it a little bit more.
Let's talk about
the characters.
let's talk about real quick. Let's just, old man getting hung, Gregory. About time, huh? I mean, he should have been off a while back, but hey, he tried to take out Maggie in a most despicable way by turning somebody's alcoholism against them, and he got the rope, and I mean, it pretty much
as Maggie said, he fails at everything he does, including murdering.
Yeah, right. Yeah, he really does. And he got murdered for it, and it kind of did propel them all to start that bridge project at that point, because it got Maggie fully in charge. She'd have to deal with any BS, and she could, provide her resources and men to help
and
out as well.
Once that bridge episode came next, it forced the communities together at that campsite, which is kind of neutral ground almost, right?
Yeah.
And Maggie didn't want to have a part of that unless she got her ethanol to make her fuel to make her actual working plow work or whatever.
Right, her tractor or whatever.
Using these artifacts or whatnot.
Yeah.
Especially considering, the guy that's the blacksmith is in her little jailhouse at this point as well.
Yeah, the guy who tried to kill her, was kind of coaxed into killing her.
Yeah.
He, turns out to be the blacksmith, so she's kind of in a bind there.
Earl
there. Yep. So episode 3, season 9.
Episode 3, season 9, called Warning Signs. How about that, right?
I like the rhymes tonight. They're nice.
The saviors keep disappearing or dying, and, the bridge is coming to an end, that whole project. You have saviors giving up and leaving, but then not showing back up to the sanctuary.
Right.
They're disappearing. And then, you have, of course, Justin and other saviors died by the hands of the Oceansiders. So we learn more as we go along about the past in that episode than we do about what's going to happen next.
Right. Yeah, this was also the episode where I think I kind of called it out.
It's like a stupid, they set up a grid. It's like a homicide thing. Like,
right.
Who killed the asshole,
Right, yes, exactly.
Just to appease the...
I think we called it pretty quick because as soon as we saw that one chick, and she had, they found her and they're like, what happened? She woke up, oh, I don't know. I just got blacked out in the woods. I was like, she's fucking faking it.
He called it out big time.
Right.
I was like, she just acted like she was acting.
Yeah, she did. She was totally meta there.
I think that's that actress. Her character's name was who was it? Does it start with a B? Beatrice.
Beatrice.
That's
yes,
right.
Yes, I do remember now. Yep, Beatrice. So Beatrice wasn't the greatest actor, and they fell for it though. But I was kind of like,
who didn't fall for it though? Daryl, because he's the one that picked up the weapon. It's like, this is what killed that Justin guy. Mm-hmm. So he knew right off the bat.
Because they were clean wounds. Remember, they were real clean wounds. So
yeah.
And then they got their just desserts. The Oceanside did because they got their satisfaction. Maggie and Daryl just kind of turned their shoulder and let it happen.
As Arat got murdered through the skull in the same place where Cindy's little brother was murdered way back when, and that's why it's called Warning Signs. When Simon went there and murdered all the men and all the kids, pretty much.
Right.
And left the women to fend for themselves, kind of thing. Mm-hmm. And Justin was part of that.
Yep.
And Arat was the one that actually laughed in the face of Cindy's little brother and killed him. So it's a very dramatic thing. And you know what? I'm sure all the fans at home watching were totally with Maggie and Daryl when they just turned her back and they did that walk-off murder scene kind of thing in the background.
We were.
Yeah.
We were.
I mean, it was great. I mean, so we had Gregory die, which is good. We had Justin die, who cares? Mm-hmm. And then we have Arat, who is just represents the worst out of the saviors,
We're getting a little dark satisfaction, but hey, it's working out for us. We need it, and this show is dark, so it's a dark time. Let's see it, man. All right, well.
Episode 4, it's called The Obliged. We have Michonne's dealings with Negan. We, obviously, I think that's the one where he goes on that food strike.
Yep.
He doesn't eat or anything.
Yeah, you get to see Negan cry at the end.
So she gives him a whole hour to chat.
Yeah.
And Maggie travels to finish him off in that same episode. She grabs the crowbar. Even Jesus can't stop Maggie from leaving. Character's name is Jesus.
Yeah.
But, that's interesting about Jesus, though. I'll bring this up again later, but, his name is Jesus in the comic, but
Right.
his name is Paul for real.
Paul, right.
They never once
Never
go
say
there.
Paul. Yeah,
Not once.
Yeah, the show decided that this kind of removed the whole
Like,
Paul
yeah, we're
name.
going to kill him off anyway, whatever.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
But Maggie travels to finish off Negan, and Carol gets ambushed. Remember? Jed, my name is Mud.
Yep.
He ambushes. He has one gun, and the rest of them have knives and
Oh,
stuff.
that's this episode.
And also, Rick and Daryl face off because that's where, like, before that goes down,
Right.
I think Rick gets noticed from Jerry that, like, oh, Jesus just told me that Maggie's on her way to Alexandria.
Yep,
You
so-
know what that means.
Yep.
So he takes off. Daryl's like, I'll give you a
Yeah,
ride.
Daryl's like, I got you. Just cut my apples.
Yeah, and they
Now
go
it's
on that, I call it like a detour ditch of hell because they end up in that pit and 12 walkers fall on top of their head and
Yeah.
they hear the gunfire from that pit. And that's when the ambush is going down.
Yep.
now. So
Yeah, it's a pretty wild episode, man. Yeah, I mean,
it sets up Rick's last episode really nicely, episode 5, that's for sure. I mean,
it does, man. After
Rick,
he
Rick and Daryl had their best scenes though in that episode 4, The Obliged though. Like
I think they did. They had the
that
best
was
scenes
some
ever.
of the best scenes together they've had for sure.
Yeah, I think so,
if not
man.
the best, really.
Right, I think so, man. At this point, like they even said too, it's like,
Ready to go, Daryl acting, having some lines there.
exactly. That's what I'm getting
I
at.
think he had as many lines as something like, about Carl, like, let him go.
Right, Daryl says like,
That's very sophisticated.
well, Carl. That's the
I'm
thing.
just kidding.
Rick,
It was
like,
very good.
He's like, it's all gonna
Yes.
go. Nothing's gonna matter. Everybody's death's gonna go. You know, unavenged. It's not gonna mean anything, especially Carl. And then Daryl's like, what about us, man? He's like, you can't trust us. Essentially, that's what it comes down to. And you can't trust us to carry out your vision. And basically comes down to Rick wants to trust that it can come down to that, but he's scared, he's losing control, because it is at this point it's held on. It's about as sturdy as that bridge is. Yeah.
Well,
I mean,
Bridge
the trust
turns out to
between-
be pretty goddamn sturdy, though. We learned that in the next episode.
Yeah, takes
Because
a lot
all those
to take it
walkers
down.
are on there. He's like, oh, it's holding, but we're going to get to that. Well, how about right now?
Right now.
Episode 5, Rick's last episode. And after this, the rest of our synopsis is really shortened down because there's really not much substance there without Rick.
Hey, you take out the Rickinator, and well, you don't have much left.
Rip the heart out of the show. I mean, really, taking the ride with Rick since episode 1 was like losing all these people that you didn't want to lose. That was huge, but like at least you're still following and feeling what he's feeling and going through what he's going. And now we can't do that anymore. But
And what a ride
I
that episode
digress.
was, man. What a ride that episode was.
It was, and it was basically, from dream state visits to Maggie and Michonne facing off before Maggie sees Negan and it's like, you're worse than dead,
Right.
Rick saves lives in this episode before he goes down, and then he ends up living, and well, just not on the Walking Dead show, but he ends up living.
Yes.
So like, we can go over that whole episode, but really, enter Magna and 10-year-old Judith at the end, and that's sort of like their answer to
Judith
what's gonna
Grimes.
happen now.
Little cutie.
Yeah.
I actually, when rewatching that episode today with Rick and them all thinking he died, and the whole thing at the end where
flies
Jadis
off.
is, saying, I gotta be now. Plans have changed. I'm not gonna trick you anymore. I'm putting the gun down. I gotta be. I'm saving a friend.
Right.
To them doing the time skip, and it's
They were willing to
Judith.
pick her up in an A, though, to begin with. So what in the world?
Because remember, she said she had an A, but she planned she had that gun. She was gonna basically ambush
All
him.
right, AMC. I got this fake Lucille bat here. You tell me what an A or a B is. I mean,
We
is
wanna
it like
know.
a type of person that like can lead versus a person that's like a sheep, or is it something completely different? Like a person has to be in a certain mindset or have killed a
Yeah.
certain amount of times.
Is it alpha
or,
beta or is it more
or is
like
like survivor or depender? Like someone, that's probably what it is.
somebody you can survive and somebody that you have to depend on?
But she also said to Gabriel, she's like, I thought you were a B, but you're not. So in other words,
why
a
it's
B
weird.
is apparently a good person, and they don't want that. They want the A's. I don't know.
Well, that's the thing. It's like it's very ambiguous right now to know whether
A
an
people
A,
trading
A
company,
or
we
B
don't know
are
who
good
they
or bad
are.
or vice versa.
Yeah.
We don't know which one's which. If it's,
Yeah.
I don't think right now we're supposed to know. They're
I
being
bet
confusing.
you it's Canadians.
You think so?
Yeah.
I'm trying
From
to
the
horror
Great
music a
White
little bit.
North.
All I'm saying is, when I rewatched that episode again today, I got a little teary-eyed. All the way up to where Judith said, Judith Grimes. I was like, there's, that's good. I felt good about that. The cool music Rick had when he was flying away on the helicopter.
Yeah.
I'll say one thing.
And it's the only time you hear that song, I think. I think maybe once.
Yeah, I think so.
That's what it was. The only other time they played that song was in episode 1 somewhere.
Really?
Yeah, like at the end during the credits or something.
Okay,
I don't know.
Cool.
We're gonna have to look into that afterwards.
We'll look into that Easter egg.
That rings a bell.
I say the one thing that I felt was misplaced in the episode was the whole Sasha thing. Even the day when I rewatched that, when they were in the big heavy CGI scene where it's like he's in a giant field of bodies, and then out of nowhere Sasha just kind of comes up and just kind of like,
yeah, man,
with her sassy face. I'm just like, I mean, they had a nice conversation. You know what? They really did, but I don't think it should have been her.
I'm just gonna read the episode 5 synopsis that I have.
We'll do that just for episode 5.
Just for episode 5, and it'll just take a minute. But Rick and more Rick it's all about him, right? But while skewered, Rick dreams and visits his past self. He wakes up, uses his belt to unskewer himself, right, mm-hmm. from the rebarb and stuff. Gets on the horse, only to dream again. Talks to Herschel, and he's like the heart, right? Herschel represents like the heart of it all.
Right.
And then Shane, he represents the rage of it all. So he's at the farm, he's in Atlanta in this dream, and eventually, like you said, for some reason, Sasha, not Carl, but Sasha is the one that's like the one to push forward, push him into the future. Like that's their answer to that. I don't know what made them pick her. And not maybe Lori or Carl or.
I think if anybody should have been it should have been Carl first. If not Carl, it should have been Glenn.
Yeah.
If not Glenn,
sure.
Glenn, it should have been It should have been Tyrese.
Yeah.
Before her.
That's a perfect lineup. Carl, and Glenn, and then Tyrese in that order.
Because they already had the thing with Herschel, so at that point,
That was wonderful, and that was
a great scene.
Scott Wilson's last performance before he died.
Very nice, man.
But also in that episode, though, meanwhile, Michonne gives into Maggie's mission,
mm-hmm.
Yet Maggie sees Negan that he's worse than dead, and soon all the parties are alerted at what's going on with the camp. Somehow they get there pretty quickly, but Rick gets to the bridge, minus the horse, diverts the walkers, but slips into one last dream, with Michonne giving him the whole fighter speech, right?
Yep.
And then Rick wakes up, he's being saved from Daryl's riverbank shots, from his crossbow, and he devises his one last plan. He shoots the explosives on the walker-infested bridge at this point, and he's blasted off himself in front of everyone. All the OGs are there to witness it,
Mm-hmm.
Yet he lives barely hanging on, and he's downstream on the bank of the river there, and Jadis is like, how convenient, like literally like 50 feet away from the field where she's getting picked up by the helicopter.
Rick's lying on a bank.
Yeah. And there you have it. So the helicopter pick up with the, I don't have a fake A, I have a real B. It's like the way they went back and forth with the people traders there, it still didn't make sense. I know they did it on purpose.
Yeah,
but
they're totally doing it on purpose.
Throw us a bone, man. We have to wait till the movie's done. Like,
oh gosh.
Sweet Jesus.
All right, so then we get into the last 3 episodes of the first half of the season, and they're Rickless. They're a couple years in the future, and we have Little Miss Judith Grimes.
Yes.
And, let's start with a little mini synopsis of
Well,
episodes.
the main characters focused, I think, are Magna and her group, and then we're setting it all up. Well, Michonne deals with the Magna group, too.
Hold on.
Are we buffering?
Yeah, we got a technical difficulty here.
Is our audio on still?
I'm not sure.
Are we good now?
I think we're good now.
All right. We had a little stream beam interruption.
Sorry about that, guys. Stream health should be okay. We just had a little skip there.
But anywho, Magna's group's introduced.
Yes.
And that's the main thing that's part of episode 6 called Who Are You Now?
Yes.
Because it's all about, this time lapse has happened since Rick's been gone. Judith is like 10 years old or so. Now here comes Magna, and even with the council meeting, like, Michonne's like not having it.
Right.
So she basically grabs Sadiq and DJ, and they take Magna's group and deport them to Hilltop.
Yeah, pretty much. Michonne decides to take her there, take him there herself, right?
Yep.
Yeah. So she's a little off-puttish at first, but I think it's more to be protective.
And plus, on the way there, she goes like over their steps, like what they're basically she. On the way there, they go back to where Magna was found, and where Magna lost her friend Bernie with the tacky silk shirt. all that, and that proved when Michonne saw them react to that burning walker that she had to put down,
Yep.
they couldn't do it.
They couldn't do it.
She knew that they were telling the truth the whole time.
Yeah. At that point, she was like, okay, I've been there, done that to a degree.
And episode 7, I think, is more of that. It's Stradivarius. That's the one where she slices the violin in half.
Oh yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
Luke is the
He's
music teacher guy.
Yeah, he saves the musical instruments. They call it a fetish in the episode.
That dude's got a death wish. I have to say, he's bringing too much happiness.
He is,
with
unfortunately.
The music. It's like, that means your time is up, man.
Yeah, unfortunately, I think you're calling that, Pete. Yeah, he's gonna be one of the group probably to go first.
Yeah.
Either him or that chick from New Zealand. I think they have the least kind of heft in the group right now between those two. Though she can fight, I think something about her character and story doesn't extend as far as the other three, Magda and then the two sisters.
I don't see the well, they're not sisters, I don't think.
Well,
really. But yeah, right.
I mean,
but really the deaf,
they're close cousins.
They're both deaf. The one's completely deaf, and the other one's partially deaf.
That's what it is. Yeah, they just know each other from being that situation.
Yeah, I think so, maybe.
But
I don't think they're going to last very long, but I think they will be quite helpful in the coming episodes, but I don't see them making it into season 10.
So what's the thing with Magna? Is she going to end up getting absorbed by the Whispers, which we'll get to them soon?
Yeah, well, it's hard to tell, but if we're going to go down that route, I guess I can explode right now before we talk about the last episode.
Okay, yeah. I was going to ask you, what are you thinking?
But, yeah, you know what? I mean, really, might as well. I mean, Magna, her character in the comic world, it's basically proof that her and her group are actually good people.
Mm-hmm.
And they've been through a lot. But on the show, Michonne exposes the prison tattoo.
Oh, yeah.
So if maybe she was already abducted by a group or perhaps even the Whispers. But what Aaron's saying here is she possibly someone that you can project seeing abducted by the Whispers in the upcoming ensuing battle.
Is she already part of them and is a spy, or is she the type where she's the kind of candidate for the Whispers? Like they see her and like, oh, she'd be perfect for our group. Let's try to manipulate her into our
thing. Showrunner, who knows what they're going to do with it? But I'll tell you what, it was kind of interesting for me, being a Greek American and all. I found out that her comic character is actually Greek American. And she's supposed to have been only in the States for a short time. Like she moved when she was, I don't know, maybe Judith's age, maybe a little bit older than that. But she doesn't have an accent in the show. But on the comic, she had this arc that Kirkman wanted to keep. And she becomes trusted to the point where every time Rick leaves, well, Rick's gone, but every time Alexandria's leader leaves, and in the case of the comic Rick, he puts her in charge.
Oh, wow.
So she is very trusted and very resourceful, and she's a good fighter and all that. And she comes from, according to the comic, Richmond, Virginia, which is right in the center there. So she didn't go too far to get where she's at, but I think one of the communities that matches that they used to go, that they were at, that failed, both in the comic and in the show, there was a greenhouse that was massive. And it growed year round, but there were people actually living in that greenhouse with everything. And well, eventually, things fell apart there.
Right.
But I think they've been to, this is like their 4th community they've embarked on.
Wow.
So you could tell as a Walking Dead fan, like that's probably not, you would agree with Michonne's assessment when they show up.
Yeah, that makes sense then. Okay, so and that's where it's like any of these people they run into now, all of them have like probably a decently cool backstory to them. If not as cool as Rick's group. That sounded interesting.
Well, Maggie's gone. Jesus is gone.
Yep.
Who's going to run Hilltop? Tara? With Alden and Enid? When we
gosh,
saw
Alden,
Alden gets abducted, I think we saw something or heard something maybe. So, like, who's really going to run Hilltop when you just talk about between Tara and someone else? Who's that someone else? Maybe Magna.
Maybe Magna. Interesting. Okay.
So, yeah, she can go and they can place her in any spot.
And last little synopsis before we get into some fun ideas, some small character talk, and then do our preview and predictions here.
Season 9, Episode 8, Evolution. The mystery of scars on all of our heroes, especially we see it on Daryl, we see it on Michonne.
Yeah.
What happened during that time period where Judith went from 5 years old to like 11 years old or whatever, right? Like, something happened, and there's a coldness between Michonne and the communities. You know, Carol's kind of cold to her at first, but tries to warm up to her to bring Alexandria to the fair that Ezekiel's going to throw.
Right.
She's not having that, but at the same time, they're comfortable with acknowledging each other. But then again, there's still this uncomfortableness. Even when Michonne walked in the door, delivering Magna and her group, Tara greeted them, and she was kind of cold at first too.
Yeah.
So something happened before Maggie left to go live with Georgie.
They're a little apprehensive now.
Something happened, and we don't know what, and who knows, maybe the writers don't even know what yet. They're kind of
putting themselves in a corner there.
It could have been writing themselves in the corner because they had no choice, because they're like, well, where's Maggie going to go? Oh, she'll just take her baby and move in with Georgie's community. Well, there's that. What's that going to be? I thought that was going to be the Commonwealth. Well, we'll see where the movie ties in, and we'll throw in Fear the Walking Dead too, and we'll just have everything crossover left, right, left, right.
Yeah, right. It gives them an easy way to mess up and
move
cover their mistake.
Around.
Yeah.
Exactly. And also to entice you, like, oh, well, you lost this character, but if you watch the other show, it's like,
Well, guys, that's our little synopsis of, well, the first half of season 9. And, well, with some new excitement coming to the season with the Whisperers, and, you know, it kind of reminds you, we even talked about it last season a lot, like what if, you know, somebody had some kind of like zombie telekinetic powers. Somebody who could control the zombies or the walkers just by using their mind or something. The Whisperers aren't quite there, but they're the closest we have so far. They essentially put on the skin of the walkers and move amongst them like they're a walker themselves. They blend in, they have perfect camouflage, and they whisper amongst it. So you can say they kind of have a superpower in the zombie apocalypse world. So we wanted to bring to you guys tonight for our first fan choice one of the new year. What would your superpower of choice be out of these 4 choices, all right, in the zombie apocalypse, all right?
Well, do we need Carl Grimes' hat, perhaps?
We do. Let me go ahead and grab it.
Because you know what? Jackson has the flu. And he's a gutless bastard, that skeleton man. He's a legless, gutless bastard.
He told us he was going to be here tonight.
He was going to be here, and he promised he wasn't going to float around and scare the crap out of us. And
he was just going to kick it, dude.
He was just going to kick it. He was going to chill right here. Maybe we have a little mini chair for him, you know, for his legless self. But no, that boner, he got himself sick. He got himself sick with the flu, influenza A, whatever.
Dang
or is
it,
a B? Who knows?
Yeah. Dude, Jackson,
Sorry.
you go take a fucking see you later.
But you know what? This channel has announcements to make eventually.
Yes.
And we're going to get Jackson to come in here at least for next week's Walker Talkers.
We'll try to get him in here at least.
Yes.
We'll see what he can do. So, we have 4 choices for you guys for superpowers in the apocalypse. First being, of course, well, the power of the Flash, which would be, well, super speed. Super speed in the zombie apocalypse, that could come in handy, man. Not only could you just move really fast and kind of move zombies at will, it'd just be pretty interesting, you know? You could move fast to dodge them, though I'm sure energy depletion would be tough, and how would you ever really...
There it is.
Oh, well, we got to select which one
Oh,
they think.
never mind. Oh, I thought you were, like, talking about them one at a time.
Oh,
Never
no.
mind. All right.
So anyway, yeah, Flash. Then we have, well, our next little idea we thought of was maybe the Hulk. The Hulk could be
Yes.
interesting. If you have that power to get angry and just start smashing and having the power of the Hulk. But ultimately, again, you know, those 2 powers we just mentioned, I feel like it comes down to if
One
you run
super
out of
fast,
food.
one super strong.
And if you run out of food and energy, I mean, where you have the energy to turn into any of those things, you know, you still would have to have the mind of a regular survivor, just knowing that you have these powers to use too.
And you know, Flash would probably do well through a herd, but what if the herd was like goes for like a mile or something? I don't know. I guess he would still be able to survive, but
I mean, he would definitely save
Hulk's
on
a
gas.
big target for, you know, munch time for the walkers. But
Think with the Hulk too. He's
could
got
just-
regeneration as well.
He does, and he would just crush them so easily, and like ragdolls. And plus, the Hulk could probably just stomp his way across a horde.
And they wouldn't be able to bite through his skin as the Hulk. Now as Bruce, they would.
Now, even if he did get bit as Bruce, he's so brilliant, he'd probably come up with a cure for the apocalypse, the zombie apocalypse.
So maybe the Hulk's pretty good. I
So
don't know.
maybe so. Think about it, people.
Well, we also thought about this. Well, the Human Torch. he'd be a pretty good idea. I mean, not only does he have the power of pyromancy, he can also fly using his fire powers. And, well, Walker's getting torched. We see them getting torched. It actually works. You just got to make sure you burn them to a crisp because they'll still walk around a flame. But if you can fly out of the situation and, use your firepower to, maybe round up a bunch of the walkers into a big group and just torch them all, that could be a pretty good power as well. But I feel like these three powers we mentioned, they all kind of have limits. And one power we thought of that's not too crazy, it's not like Superman, but one that's a little more rugged, but doesn't have to worry as much about his limits. Well, the power of Weapon X himself, the Wolverine.
Sticky snine.
I mean, dude, you got
Logan.
You got the blades, that would easily lop off zombie heads with the adamantium. You have Wolverine himself, who's been in all the wars.
He can heal and regenerate like
he
crazy.
Can regenerate.
I mean, you can melt him to like just his adamantium skeletal structure, and he'll slowly regenerate
Grow it back.
Everything. It's crazy.
So he's a pretty good pick there. I think he would be the best to survive in the rugged.
And he would also be the most terrifying if he did get zombified. And it's been done in the comic before, but can you imagine something like that coming after you?
Mm-hmm.
Like, who cares if a big herd of walkers, if there's a zombie Weapon X Wolverine coming after you, like, that's got to be the most terrifying thing I can think of.
Right.
But if he doesn't turn, he would be the most helpful, I think.
Yeah, I think so too. He would be the most dangerous if he was like a Negan type, though. But hey, let's see what Jackson says from the old toilet, because he sent us his ideas, and he sent them in this little hat here, and he asked Pete to pick out and let fate decide.
All right, Boner Jams, Jackson.
What would be the best power for the apocalypse?
Did we even talk about the Fantastic Four guy?
Yeah, Human Torch. I
Oh,
mentioned
you
that.
did talk about him.
Yeah.
What am I?
Just pick one.
There's only two choices in here. Oh, there
they are. Oh.
See, this hat's lining is.
The
Jackson.
hat's got a line. Jackson's already pulling up flaps. Look, we got a hat here.
I can't. I don't.
Just pick one. Doesn't matter which one it is.
What
do you got?
I'm one-handed here because I got this bat here. The Wolverine.
Oh, perfect. The Wolverine.
What do you know?
That's what one we think would be the best. Ultimately, like we said, he's got the claws. He could last. He's been in wars for God's sakes. I think he would.
I think most people obviously agree that having 3 blades that are like 2 feet long coming off each fist, pretty damn helpful in this kind of apocalypse, eh?
But I mentioned to Pete though that there is a edition of the comics where Wolverine is a zombie, and we both agree that would be probably the scariest zombie, scariest walker. It supersedes anything Jadis created.
All those art creations of deadliness and spikes and whatnots, nothing compared to what Wolverine could do.
It would bow down to the Walker Wolverine. So that's our fans' choice, guys.
What am I doing wrong here? Like, I can't find it.
What are you looking at? Oh, we're on YouTube right now.
Oh my God. We've been twitching it so long.
But hey, we are getting a little closer to premiere, guys. So we're gonna keep talking. We're just gonna we kind of discussed characters a lot already tonight, so we're gonna go ahead and jump into our appreciations of the season, and then we'll roll out with a preview of tonight of the second half of the season, as well as our final thoughts and predictions.
Yes.
So, Pete, can you give us a couple appreciations you had for the first half of season 9?
Oh, well, I did appreciate a lot of extra baggage that didn't belong to be around anymore, getting taken care of, like the Gregory and the Justin and the Arat and even other saviors that got taken down, even though a lot of them got taken down in the shootout and the rest got away. It was really neat to see Carol take care of the leftovers a few years later, because I think after her time lapse, she crosses Jed and burns them alive, I guess, while in their sleep or something crazy, right?
Yeah, she does. Yeah, it's pretty sweet. I watched that scene earlier.
So it's like old school Carol coming back. Now she's got bow and arrow. She looks like something out of Lord of the Rings, whatever. Let's see what happens next. I think the most thing I appreciated really was Andrew Lincoln's performance.
Yes.
It really made me watching his last couple episodes there, especially episode 4 and 5. you could tell that there were all the conversations he had with Carol and Daryl and even Eugene, and the list goes on. There were his last conversations with these people.
Yeah, it was pretty cool.
But the one thing I appreciate the most is something that didn't happen, and something that's going to happen, and that's the news that, well, you can't deny our girl Denai, who plays Michonne. She is not going to sign on past season 10. Matter of fact, they might just use some of the. They might give us the answers either this season or in season 10 with the scar and what happened then, and then fade her out.
Yeah.
Only to.
And not even fully season 10. Like, she's only going to make a couple episodes and then be out.
But it is said, and as they say on Game of Thrones, what's her name? My dragon queen.
Yes.
All her servants would say, "It is known."
It is known.
And I am saying it is known that Michonne is going to be in movie 2 of the 3 AMC Rick movies that are all going in production, starting with the first movie of just Rick and his
arrival to the new place.
His arrival to the new place, and you're going to take the ride with him in movie 1. That goes into production currently or next month, I believe.
Nice.
Yes.
Well, we should be having that sooner than later, hopefully. We'll see, guys. My appreciation, and I'll keep it simple, I appreciated what they did with Rick. They could have totally lowballed us here. And as much as there's a lot of things in this show right now that I'm disappointed with, but I was happy with what they did with Rick. Mm-hmm. I was not happy that he's leaving the show, but I'm happy with the outcome of him leaving the show and where it's headed with the movies. So that's my main appreciation. And besides that, Kang, you're really great at capturing those booty shots. So,
oh my gosh, there was a Michonne next to Maggie, just like looking out in the balcony. Oh wow!
Oh yeah, man.
Much appreciation.
Appreciation. All right, guys. So appreciations there, and let's go ahead and throw up the preview here for next week, shall we?
Let's do that, because I'm starting to get upset about no Rick and no Maggie and even no Jesus, man. Like, how is this gonna work?
Yeah, Jesus is gone, by the way, guys. That's how they revealed the Whisperers.
Yeah.
And here's our preview.
What?
Yo, what up, RX? Hi-Fi.
More like less than that. You don't want with these people.
Yo, yo, yo. How are y'all? I'm back again.
Welcome back, welcome back. You ready for tonight? Hope you are, because we are.
We are. We're geared up, man. We're ready to finally see how they're going to play this whole Whisper thing here. If it's going to be like a total slaughter, we're going to have like clusters of our remaining survivors die, or is it going to be a long, drawn-out thing?
Oh yeah, Negan's out too.
Yeah, he's been released by accident.
So, yeah, guys, there is a preview of the second half of the season. Pete, can we throw out our predictions for season 9B? Let's be quick about it. What are your predictions? Because the show is starting soon. It's got 3 minutes, for God's sake.
Our Jersey boy, Alden, the Tool, he must die.
Okay.
And I'm done. No, no, but really, like, I really do think that there has to be an immediate showdown within the first 2 episodes of, like something's going to happen. Like the Whispers have to hit Hilltop at the wall or show up at Alexandria. But it seems like with the previews that Alexandria is already being spied on quite a bit. And
Yes.
that is directly from the comic. That's where it starts off,
Yeah. My predictions, I think these townships are going to finally be divided when they think they're finally getting it all together and finally working out that system to work in harmony.
But what
the
about
Whispers,
the fair? The fair is going to unite them.
Well, the fair.
Unless they get their
it's fair to
flesh
say the fair is
pulled
going
from
to
the
be,
vine.
going to be kind of toppled over by these Whisperers because they're going to kind of come in and they
Party crash the place with
I mean,
a
hey,
herd of actual walkers.
by
right?
the preview, they seem like they kind of take off the mask for a minute and say, "Hey, here I am." So they make themselves present, but the fact is, they're like ninjas. They can just kind of flow back into the shadows. So they're definitely gonna throw a wrench into this community, and I really hope. This is more of a hope than a prediction. I really hope the new horror aspect they bring back to it really sets it off into somewhere I can enjoy again, because without Rick, without Maggie, and knowing that Michonne will be leaving soon as well, they really got to keep my attention with these new Whisperers and this new threat, because unless they're going to give Daryl more lines like they did in episode 4, I don't see him really carrying too much. Unless they got something special planned for Negan.
I just really hope if his ego gets his head lopped off or whatever by the Whispers somewhere down the line, are they trying to project Henry to be like kind of adopted by Daryl? I mean, I really don't like the interactions Daryl had with Henry. It sort of like looked like they were teeing that one up.
Yeah, Henry too.
He's kind of been a bummer. I mean, I don't know. I just.
Hey, I'm right there with you, Rixie Fi. I think that something with Negan would be pretty cool. I know Pete would rather see Negan off, but hey, like he's mentioning here, or they're mentioning here, what if somebody gets captured? They got to make a plan, and who else to call or to get help is but Negan.
Well, Negan made a point talking to Michonne in that hour they had together in the cell, and that was, he's like, you and I are alike. We've lost everyone we loved. He doesn't know Michonne had a baby though. She's got little Rick running around.
I forgot they did have a kid.
Like I don't know.
Crazy.
I don't know if he probably seen the kid run around from his cell in the basement, but he doesn't know it's Michonne's necessarily. Who knows, right? We don't know what happened in that period where she was pregnant. People got scarred.
It's crazy. Hopefully, we find it out here soon.
But yeah, you are right. Negan made the point too that like they have certain skills, and her talking about crops and protecting them from the crows and him rotting in the cell, it's not helping anybody. They could be out there doing some damage and killing walkers and threats out there together. Right. So I understand that, but still, I hope everyone loves it. Negan comes in, he helps out, he saves the day, it's awesome, he's now part of the group, and then Rick shows up in like Fear the Walking Dead or something with Negan, because he's not supposed to come back in the OG, and kills him by chopping off a couple hands at first, and maybe his testicles, takes them off and puts them in Negan's mouth. And then
not only the female little Rick,
I don't know.
Rick's also got a little boy now, a mixed boy with Michonne. Remember?
Yes,
so there's that too. I was
Oh, he was. Not
he was asking. There's Rick's got his seeds aplenty.
As they call the two of them, Rishon. They got together twice in the early half of this season. And they made love, and both times it was all about the future. I believe they got all hot and bothered about charter laws, and the next thing you know.
But hey, guys, when you know that it's already 1 minute past 8 o'clock, and it's showtime, so we're gonna run in there and get us some popcorn going, enjoy the enjoyment, and get ready for season 9, episode 9. That's B for you if you don't know. That's the second half of the season, and we're ready to go watch the show. So you guys enjoy the rest of Sunday. Oh yeah, I forgot to announce, next Sunday, all Sunday, over on the PanNerdia Twitch channel, starting at 10 a.m., I will be doing a 1-year Paniversary special. An all-day stream to where, I stream a little bit of everything, from my gaming to my card opening to my art to my reviews, my podcasts, and ending with the Walker Talkers here.
A plethora of PanNerdia on Paniversary. Numero uno.
Whatever. It's PanNerdia here, guys. So get ready for that. It's going to be exciting. This is my announcement here for you guys. It's going to be really cool, man. All day. It's been 1 year, and this was, like I said, the first show on PanNerdia, and we're welcoming you guys back. And hope you guys enjoy it.
New studio and everything.
New studio and everything, man.
Lots of content to share, new and old, on that day.
Yeah, man. Hey, thanks for joining us, everybody. Liberia the Cat, RX, I-Fi. If I'm saying that right, thank you so much.
It's Ri-Fi.
Ri-Fi.
R-Y-F-I? I can't see from over here.
RXYFI. But thank you so much. Yes, I hope they do something with Judith. And they make her actually matter, because she's the only kind of representation of Rick left. So you guys go enjoy the show, and we'll see you guys next weekend for the Walker Talkers and the 1-year Paniversary.
Yes.
Alrighty, guys.
Peace out.
Peace out.
Enjoy the enjoyment. I know we will.
We definitely will. Peace.
Time for blast off.